Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are in the world, and welcome to the TransNation eSports US Regional Sunday night 7 o'clock coverage here, coming at you this week from Australia. It's round one of the season. It's a new division, and we're in for a lot of excitement here today. I am Stu, joined here in the comm box by Michael Garone Jr. Mike, how is it going tonight?
It's going good, really good time for all of us and all of these guys. A new division, very first race for a lot of these guys, some of them transferring over from our previous divisions. I was going to say I think these guys are excited, but when we jumped in and there's rain coming from the skies, so these guys are going to have to deal with a wet qualifying. I don't know if they're super excited about that. But either way, should mean some interesting times from our perspective.
Yeah, it certainly should here. We go to Australia, and the first thing that these drivers get to experience is the soaking wet conditions here in Australia. It's definitely something that can happen, and the rain rolling through, as I think I hear an engine firing up. And we may be able to get this underway here in a moment, as I believe it's a Ferrari that is going to be first out of the pits on the intermediate tires. But a big welcome to everybody that is joining us here this evening. As you may have noticed, there's obviously there's an intro now. We have some fancy bits and bobs to play around with in the comm box tonight, as again it is myself and Michael Garone Jr. that are on the mic here this evening. A couple of guys coming out of the pits, Mike, but we don't have any word on what the weather conditions might be like for the race. I wonder if we might be able to pull that from somebody.
Yeah, we got to get a weatherman for pretty much every division, so we got to get us one for Sunday 7.
That's true.
We'll
accepting
wait for somebody
applications.
to step up to the plate. Yeah.
We'll see what people can come together with here. So, of course, as we head into a new division, we also we have a number of new drivers here, and showing up on screen now is going to be the driver. Well, it's the driver standings. Of course, they're empty as we have not completed a race yet, but lots of new faces here in the Sunday night at 7 o'clock division here. And I'll quickly run through them, the driver listings here. In the Alfa Romeo, we have Adam Kowal. Oh, Mike, you did this better than I did. Kowalczykowski?
Kowalczykowski.
There we go. Adam Kowalczykowski. We're probably going to call you Adam. Better known as Texticles is his PSN. So maybe we'll be referring to him as Adam more often than not. We do have Michael Poland, who I do not believe was able to join us here tonight. He, of course, is Polish Sniper. We have Nick Mercer, Mr. Stikolas, I believe. We have Will in Suck D's Toads, so definitely some interesting names, interesting PSNs here as we start this new division. We have Jaden Howard, DGZ, JD Killswitch, Patrick, PJBX King, Ryan Clark, Nitwit, I believe, is how it goes. We have Kenneth, TNE Highway, Dustin Howe, DG Howe, Anthony Flask, A Flask 6, Carlos is Carl, I believe, with a bunch of ones in there as his PSN. Kevin Hutchison is True North Racing. Joshua Melvin is Chef Gonwar. Again, don't know if I'm pronouncing all of these correctly, but doing our best here. GDB 0791 is Greg Brody. Lauren Biko is Biko. Again, if I'm not pronouncing it properly, I apologize. Kyle Bryant is Blender for Life. Will Robbins is WPR43. Aaron Bolin is WhizBang02. I don't believe he was able to join us tonight either. Brandon Pottsma is Brando. And then finally, Joseph is Klaus Florida. So there's some new names for us to learn here, Mike, as we get the season underway.
Yeah, there is definitely most of these guys brand new to our league. Some of these guys, their first ever experience with league racing, so I'm glad that. Oh man, that I don't know who that was. It's like Biko trying to get back on track, almost ran right into Klaus Florida there. As I'm trying to remember all the names myself, that's Joseph. Yeah. So yeah, some guys their very first league, so I'm really glad that they're dipping their toes into league racing here. I hope that they enjoy their time here, and you know we make this the best experience for them as we can. Talking about the qualifying session, Joseph is the top man right now at a 34.9, so that's your benchmark. A few other times, it's like nobody else really on the same pace early on as Joseph, but we'll have to see what everybody else could do as these final 12 minutes roll down.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like the rain is going to be letting up very much, that is for sure. It's a wet one here in Australia. There's no doubt about that. But now, Mike, one of the things that's going to be a little bit different for us, and I mean, we don't have the same familiarity with some of these drivers as we do throughout the Sunday 9 and Monday 9 divisions. So we know pretty much on those two nights where everybody's at pace-wise, and that's going to be one of the great wild cards for this this new division that's formed up here tonight. I know we had the opportunity to see lots of these guys race last week in the preseason race. Do you have any thoughts, preliminary thoughts on who might be the preseason favorite?
Well, Joseph did look very good in some of those preseason races. Also, Nick looked like he had a good bit of pace behind him. Somebody that I've had my eye on from the Nationals evaluations was Adam. Adam did a really good job in Nationals evaluations and made his way into Tier 1 assists. So he's somebody that I think is going to be towards the top of the pecking order, and he might be the guy to beat. But I think really we'll see. I think it'll take a few races for the true pecking order to become apparent, but I think after a few races we'll see where everybody's going to fall. Dustin as well, I almost forgot to mention Dustin. True. He was somebody who really made great strides towards the end of last season in Sunday 9. So I think he's somebody we need to look out for, especially if he keeps improving at the rate that he was. Somebody who puts in a lot of dedication to the game. He does things to put in practice that I don't think any of us would really do, waking up at like 3 or 4 in the morning just to put some laps in. So yeah, he's dedicated to really showing what he could do, and I think we'll have to look out for him.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. Dustin, who is right now out on an outlap, I think he is. I think he's going to be a guy to watch in here. We saw the pace that he picked up through it last year, and I think we can only expect him, especially with the amount of time that he puts into it, to just continue to take a step forward here. I can't speak. Continue to take a step forward here, and he'll be one to watch here as the season gets underway. We're being told by one of our resident pit lane reporters, Sebastian Flores, that kid Sebi, as Adam goes P1, that the weather for the race is going to be clear. So I'm sure that is a bit of a relief for most of these drivers, as hopefully they we'll get to have some clear running here, as Nitwit disqualified for, was that going the wrong direction?
Parked in a dangerous location, I think it was.
Could he have been possibly parked in front of the pit road? I wonder.
He may have, yeah, may have had a little moment, and it ended him up in the pit lane and registered him blocking it. So
Yeah, that certainly would not be ideal if that is the case. But regardless, here we're still following along with Dustin. Here, there is a yellow flag in sectors 1, 2, and 3. Very nice. You always love to see that. I don't now, Mike. I don't know if I can't recall if I've ever really done much running in Australia in the wet. I think maybe a bit in qualifying, but I don't think I've ever done a truly wet race here in Australia. I don't know if you have, or if you can recall one.
yeah, season 6, tier 1 nationals for no assist. The race was wet. It was a dry to wet race, and it wasn't my favorite track in the wet. Obviously not a place that's super rainy, so we don't see a lot of it in the game. But it wasn't super impossible. I like the track a lot more in the dry, like most people probably do, but yeah, qualifying in the wet is always tough because it's all about catching the right. You know, sometimes you'll have points where the rain lets up just that little bit, and it gives you that extra couple of tenths to improve in a place that you wouldn't have been able to if that rain didn't let up. So there's so many different factors in a quality that's affected by rain. On dry quality, it's you go out there and whoever does the best lap does the best lap. It's not so much the case. You kind of have to catch the weather at its best time throughout the session.
Certainly do, and as you were mentioning that, in these wet conditions, Kevin Hutchison, True North Racing, crossed the line. He did not improve on his previous time, but 135.9. Now, one of the things that's completely different about qualifying in the wet versus qualifying in the dry is you'll see drivers actually improve their qualifying times over the course of the wet conditions. And what I mean by that is the tires aren't just one and done. The tires, as you get more heat into them... Oh, there's a Renault that just went around. That was Bico. So I think we're probably going to see a lot of these drivers stay out and maybe try and have their third lap be their fastest, their actual hard trying lap, as opposed to their first one out. And just taking a peek at the YouTube comments as well. Lots of love coming so far in the chat. Good to see. Good to see a nice turnout as well for, I guess this is the season opener for the what am I trying to say, Mike? For season 3 here in the U.S. Regional Series, but it's also the season opener. Oh goodness! Highway, Kenny. Yeesh, that was he lost an M plate there. That's not going to be a fun go of it. But season opening race, as of course nationals will get started next weekend, and the rest of the regionals throughout this week. It's an exciting time. It's always nice to see a new season getting underway, and we're glad that everybody is able to tune in and join us here. Brett wants a shout out for Shannon, who is watching this race. Hello, Shannon. Hopefully you're enjoying the rain, and there's been some moments here. This has not been short of action so far this qualifying session. We've had one driver disqualified. We have a couple drivers who have yet to set times, one of them being the Renault of Bico. He is just coming into the pits. We have a new fastest lap as well, Mr. Stickless. That's Nick Mercer. And he puts his Ferrari to the top of the boards.
Quite a bit ahead of Adam and Joseph. Those two are split by only about 2/100.
Yeah.
It looks like Joseph's on another lap. He got everything turned up.
Now, one of the other things that we don't really know about these drivers, I mean, we mentioned that we don't necessarily know what their true pace might be like, but we also don't really know what assists they use. We might have a basic idea. I think sometimes gets mentioned during registration. Sometimes we know based on what national division they might be in, but of course, assists can definitely provide a big benefit for you in the wet and rainy conditions that we're experiencing now. So. We'll probably learn some of those as the season goes on, but for now, it's we have no idea for the most part.
I'm trying to. I don't know if we have anybody that is no assists.
Actually,
no assist. I think Kenneth is maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised if Dustin has turned everything off. I think I saw a message in the Discord from a little bit ago where he said he was practicing without racing line, which of course that's a massive step up in difficulty if he's indeed not going to be running the racing line. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's turned all those assists off. I think he was down to. He might have only had ABS on at the end of last year, if I'm not mistaken, or even if he might have been no assist at that point. So we might have one or two in here. Oh, we have a familiar face that's popped into the YouTube comments. That's Sean, not Apollo. Unfortunately, he will not be contesting this season as a full-time driver, but hopefully he'll pop in and reserve in some races here throughout the season.
Disappointed, Sean.
Disappointed! So like I said, we do expect this rain to clear here for the beginning of this race. We have a number of drivers that are out on presumed hot laps right now, or getting ready to start their final hot lap. One of those drivers being Will, of course. Will suck these toads. I wonder if he'll have enough time to get around. I don't think he's gonna... Oh yeah, he's in Sector 3. No, he's in Sector 1/2. I don't know if he's gonna have enough time to get around.
I don't think he's gonna make it.
Yeah, I don't think so. We have Adam and Nick. They're both in the pits, so they're done. Actually, he might have enough time. Will might have enough time because I believe that bug is still a thing where there's 30 seconds more than what there actually is.
Yeah, we don't see. Yeah.
Greg is crossing the line. He does not improve on his time. JD Kill Switch. That is Jaden. He is on an out lap. But if our clock is right, he's just gonna miss it by a few seconds here. So Nick retires from the session. We'll see if Jaden gets this in. Jaden does get it in, so
30 seconds.
Yes, that's phrasing right there. Jaden's there. Kenny's in the pits. Anthony's in the pits. Carlos is out on a flying lap. He is right around where he was on his previous lap time, so not sure if he is going to improve there. As we're starting to see guys wrap up here, Klaus Florida has improved on his time through Sector 1, and he is about a 10th up. We will ride along with him for now here, as there's actually a Renault coming out of the final corners, both the Renaults. Biko is not going to get a time in. Blender, though, that is Kyle. Kyle is about to cross the start-finish line. What's he going to be able to do? Can he improve? He does improve by a half second on the full wet tires and goes up to P10. Let's check in on Joseph here. Joseph, Klaus Florida. He is on the intermediates. Going through the very difficult Sector 2 here.
4 tenths up.
Ooh, Let's go.
I have to hope the traffic gets out of his way. Ooh,
Yep.
he does.
Well done by one of the Haas drivers, either Jaden or Patrick. Ooh, a Red Bull parked off to the side. As Kyle is coming out of the final corner here, down the front straightaway, and what's he going to be able to do? One of the final drivers that will set a time. He's going to cross the line, and he's going to improve to go pole, a 134 flat.
Pretty convincingly there. That was a really solid lap.
Yeah.
On board for most of it, so.
A very nice lap there for Will. As I believe it's safe to say he will be starting on pole. All of the other drivers are either in the pit lane or have already retired from the session. So your pole sitter here for today is going to be Will in the first race of the season. As the first qualifying session of the season is done here, Mike. Any surprises off the bat?
I think Dustin down in 14th, but if what you are saying is true, where he's turned everything off, I guess that kind of does make sense. Hopefully from him we see improvement every week, and he makes his way back up the order. But yeah, I think we all thought that Dustin was going to be up towards the top. Obviously turning some assist off is going to slow you down in the short run, but I'm sure if he's putting in the time, that's, you know, he'll be back up there soon. Any other surprises? I don't know. Like you said, there's so many of these guys that we don't know exactly where they're gonna fit in terms of pace. So
yeah, it is tough to see. I mean, I think based on what we've seen today. Again, it's extra hard with the rain as well. Really can be difficult to tell who's fast, who's not, who might have just stuck their dry setup on and not adjusted at all for the wet conditions, and was just going to take what they got here in qualifying. So we'll find out here as we are just waiting for these drivers to select their strategies. But as we do that, we do have the track guide up on screen. And for this Australian Grand Prix, 29 laps here today of this 5.3 kilometer circuit. We do have some previous winners there from Nationals last season. But it's a tricky little, it can be a tricky little track here, Mike. There's a couple corners depending on what you have, what assists you have enabled that can make your life a little bit difficult around here.
yeah, turns 11 and 12 are going to be a real hot spot, a corner we're going to have to look out for most of the race. We've seen people drop it there countless amounts of time. It's super high speed corner where you could make up a lot of time if you're fully committed, but you overstep that boundary just a little bit and you're going to find yourself in either that inside wall or in that gravel trap and then into the outside wall. So we'll have to look out for that. Overall, I don't know about you, but it's a track that I like. A good track for a season opener in my opinion. Fast flowing, a little tricky to overtake at times, but a track that I enjoy quite a bit.
Agreed. So I will now take you through the DXT Esports starting grid here, and we're going to start off with the pole position, the Drink Alchemy pole position here for the Australian Grand Prix. Starting on pole here today is Will in the that's Joseph. My mistake, that's Klaus Florida in the Williams. Starting alongside him in P2, Mr. Stickless, that is Nick Mercer. On row 2, we have Adam in the Alfa Romeo. Starting alongside him is Kevin in the Racing Point. On row 3, starting 5th, Suck These Toads, that's Will. And alongside him will be Patrick, that's PJBX King. On row 4, we have GB in the Red Bull, that is Greg. And starting alongside him is the Kill Switch, that's Jaden. Starting on row row 5 in 9th position. WPR, that is, oh boy, WPR, that is Will. Sorry, guys. And Blender for Life, Kyle, rounds out the top 10. In 11th, we have TNE Highway, that's Kenneth. In 12th, we have Anthony. P13, starting P13, we have Carlos. Starting P14, we have Dustin. Starting P15 in the Red Bull, we have Josh. P16, we have Lauren. P16, we have Brandon. And then finally, rounding out our grid here today, in the McLaren, we have Ryan. So as we get ready here to get things going, the lights are building, the revs are building in Australia, and it's lights out, but nobody's going yet.
Oh, we got the delayed lights.
Classic. And we're off here for Season 3 of the Trans Nation eSports US Regional. Sunday night action here is a little bit of bumping and banging here, going into one, and that Stiglitz, he's off. There's some front wing damage already here, as Adam assumes the race lead. Adam and Kevin got a nice jump.
Looks like a little touch between Joseph and Nick there in a turn 1. Ended up Nick being in the gravel on the inside of turn 2, so he's fallen all the way back to 4th.
Yeah, not the start that Nick was, or sorry, not the start that Will was. No, sorry, Nick. Yeah, Nick was looking for. Oh boy, as everybody does seem to have sorted themselves out for the most part. We do have some action back here for P11. Oh no, this is P12 through 14 here. They're side by side going into turn 7, I believe it is. Oh, some desync there.
Workage there.
But most of the drivers here have they've sorted themselves out. For the most part, they've kept it on track. And one of the things that I didn't notice is we only had 2 drivers starting on the medium compound tire.
Yeah, nobody really willing to gamble with a different strategy, so everybody's going to be boring, as one of them's already coming in.
Ooh,
Or the wing change.
My goodness, that has the revving glitch. One of the 2 drivers started on the medium compound tires, so. But we do have a nice little train forming here of the top 5. Klaus, Joseph, he's settled himself after the little bit of a actually no, he didn't have the shaky first turn. It was Stiglitz, Nick, that had the bit of a shaky first turn, but regardless, he's settled in, and he has and he finds himself there in P4. The battling going on further back. You have a 4-way battle here.
Is under a blanket right there.
Yeah, for 5th, and
Dustin's just sitting back watching it. Oh, that's not gonna end good.
Oh, yeah, bumping and banging going through. That's turn 7, right? I think.
No.
Is it turn 9?
11 and 12.
Oh, okay. Those not really areas that you want to be having a bunch of beating and banging. So we see our first penalty get handed out for the season, a 3-second to PJB Patrick. Yep.
Dustin's looking on the inside of Greg.
Yep.
Backed out of that one.
Dustin knows how important it's going to be to, just keep it clean here. Of course, lots of these drivers do have a fair amount of experience in league racing, but for some of them, this may be their first foray into it. And Dustin, having completed last season with us, he knows that patience is going to pay off. As I think Adam is starting to pull away a bit here from Kevin, as Kevin and Joseph are going at it. That is for P2. Kevin is...
Nick's also a part of that as well.
Yeah, a good battle brewing here for P2. We have a yellow flag in sector 3.
3.
Oh, that's a Red Bull. That is Chef Gone War. That is... No, that is GDB. That is Greg Brody, who has had an off. Luckily, though, there's no damage on that car, and he sends it up the inside of Biko. Man. That was a ballsy move.
That was a full send.
That is just gonna send it if I've ever seen one. That as a battle rages on here for P2 and P3. Oh, the Ferrari and Racing Point, Kevin and Nick.
Oh, this is not a corner to go side by side.
Oh, there goes the Ferrari. He's around. Front wing off. There wasn't anybody behind them for a little while, so they were building a solid gap, but Mr. Stickless, Nick, he is going to have to be coming into the pits here. He's going to let his teammate by. That's tough. That look, you know, there's some corners where you just can't go through side by side. And
yeah, I mean, just a classic incident where neither one wants to back out. Somebody really had to in that situation, and
yep.
It was going to end badly for... I'm surprised it didn't end badly for both of them.
Yeah, I agree with you. As we have a... Oh my goodness, they're going to go 3 wide here. This is Nick with a McLaren. That's Kenny and Patrick. And now Patrick and Kenny are side by side. Oh my goodness. There is...
Nick's just trying... He just wants to crawl back to the pits and get a fresh wing.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely not just moving out of the way. He was... I don't know if he was trying to just get in the way there and let his teammate get some breathing room, or what that might have been. But a couple small incidents here to start, but I think this is a much quieter start than what the the start of Australia was last year for a Sunday at Nines. That's the infamous almighty accident that that happened. As more battling going on here. Highway, Kenny, still duking it out here with Patrick for P5. Some good battles going throughout the field, and you'll see from 5th all the way on down to 11th, they're all within a second of each other. It's a DRS train. And here goes Dustin to the inside.
Yeah, Kenneth got a bad exit. And Dustin just came in and took advantage. Really nothing Kenny could do about it, so now Dustin will continue his charge. You kind of talked about patience, and from watching Dustin all season, in Season 2, he was the man of patience. He just slowly made his way up, did his thing, didn't get a ton of penalties. He just always had a way of staying in it, so... I think for him starting 14th, not ideal, but he's already crawling his way up, and we'll have to see how far he can make it.
Yeah. Oh, our first retirement. Oh, that's the infamous corner. Then that's a full-on safety car. A full safety car has been deployed here. So there it is. Matthew Elia mentioned it in the chat, and he put the old jinx on here as the first safety car of the day has come out. And Mike, safety car 5, we're on lap 6 now, so we're probably going to get back underway here around lap 9. The first thing that comes to mind is pit strategy, and these soft runners, you got to think they're going to be bailing to come into the pits here.
Yeah, I think we'll see everybody pit for the hards here. Other than maybe Anthony, he might gamble. Try to stay out, gain some track position in the later stages of the race, but everybody on the softs, I think, will come in for the hards. This is actually kind of bailed out a couple of guys who had to pit a little early. Blender, Stickless, and Killswitch all on the hards already, so they might be bailed out here with the safety car.
I think Blender actually just took advantage of the, the safety car came out before he crossed the pit road entry. So I think that's why he came in. Of course, Mr. Stickles, he had that wing damage that he was forced to make that early pit stop, and then JD, of course, that is Jaden Howard. He had to come in early as well. So most of the front runners coming down pit road. Kevin of True North Racing stays out. Anthony stays out. That's not terribly surprising, given that he started the race on the mediums. But most of the rest of the field coming in for fresh sets of tires. Some opting for the mediums, as we see with Kenny. Nitwit as well. Both those McLarens on the same strategy. Of course, Ryan is Nitwit's actual name. But we mentioned Anthony there a second ago, and I think it's important. One of the things that you have seen so far throughout this broadcast, and is going to be a fixture on the broadcast screen, is that Drink Alchemy logo. You can see it up in the upper right-hand corner, and for those of you that are new and have not heard the announcement, we are proud to welcome Drink Alchemy into the Trans Nation eSports universe here. They have come aboard as a supporter of ours and a partner. They have helped us to put together many of these graphics that you're seeing throughout the stream. And I'm sure there's going to be many more exciting things to come throughout the partnership with them. They are currently available only in the United States, but and they are branded. It's not so much an energy drink, but I would say I believe the way that Anthony has described it to us is they do fall into their main competitors are your Monsters, your Red Bulls, but this is a drink that's tailored more to athletes. They do have some partnerships with some Olympic athletes already that they're getting underway, and it's to help improve your focus, improve your performance. And we look forward to hopefully getting some samples of those soon, and getting to try that out for ourselves.
Yeah, I think it's right down our alley as league racers, kind of, as you touched, of a product that helps you focus, kind of a mind enhancement thing. And for us to stare at a TV screen or monitor for about 45 minutes requires a certain level of focus. So I think right down our alley. I'm excited to try it out once we get our first couple samples, and yeah, really happy with the partnership so far, and I think we're going to do some great things together.
Yeah, I think it's very exciting to see them come on board. It's been great working with them so far this week. If you want to learn more about them, you can go to their website, www.drinkalchemy.co. They have an Instagram as well. They have all the links for their social media, YouTube, everything there. You can also just Google Drink Alchemy. First result that pops up is going to be the one you're looking for. I know they've started pre-orders, and I mean, this is unlike a drink that I've ever seen before. So like Mike said, I'm excited to try this out, and you know, if it can even give me, if I can focus in that much more and get a 1/10 of a second on the track, heck, I'm going to be tickled pink with that. So that'll be great. But yeah, again, very excited to see them on board, and stay tuned for a lot more exciting things to come with them. Michael Poland, he was unfortunately unable to make. Oh, that Adam spun it. Adam,
oh,
no, don't back out on track.
Don't do that.
Oh, he's lost his front wing, and he's gonna have to come in and replace that. That is unfortunate for Adam. Luckily, it happened under safety car, but he doesn't have another set of hards to put on. Woof.
Oh, so I mean, what does he do here?
He's got to go the medium route, and next, he's gonna have to hustle to even catch up to the field for the restart, because I think they're gonna go back green this time.
No, they already, they did go green, I think. Yeah, they did.
Oh, shoot, did they? Oh, they did.
Yeah, they did.
Oh man, I missed that. We're back to green flag racing here. To answer your question, Michael Poland, there will be
we got
a
another.
discount code coming.
Dustin's around.
Oh no! Dustin on the hards. I don't know if he has any damage. He has avoided damage, so that's good for him. But this restart, a tricky one for some of these guys. And Kevin is bolted at the front. A second, up to about a second lead so far. We have Kenny and Carlos side by side here. Carlos going to take P9. So coming off of the green, or going back to green flag racing here, a couple drivers just struggling a little bit, maybe with the cold tires. We know both of these guys that did have moments, Dustin and Adam, both of them were on the hards, so those are tricky to get up to temperature. And coming out of that final corner, I mean, there was a pretty wicked tank slapper that I had in this race last year, so I would not be terribly. I feel their pain, and
in front of the whole field.
Yep, I believe Sean, who's actually in the chat, he had to back out of the run that he had on me, going into one. So, as actually Anthony is, he's found himself in P3 after the restart. He's holding down the fort there so far. He has Patrick breathing down his rear wing, though. Patrick with a fresh set of softs on, so that's interesting. Varying tire strategies that took place on that pit stop.
A lot of different ways. I am interested to see what Kevin does with his strategy. I think he's at a point where those softs are going to start to fall off, but he could just, if he could hang on and get to a good window to put on some mediums, I think that'll really pay off towards the end of the race. But it doesn't look like he's getting run down too hard from behind, so this might actually pay out. We kind of questioned why he was staying out, but he might be onto something here.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe he recognized the gap that the top four drivers had. We know Stickles, Nick has been quick. We also know that Adam Texticles, that he has been quick as well. And we do see maybe he stayed out just to try and build up as much of a window as he can, as Anthony is under fire here from Patrick on those fresh softs. But maybe he was just wanting to stay out, try and build up as much of a gap as he could, and try and avoid some of the chaos that can be restart traffic.
Oh yeah, we've seen some we've seen some real chaotic safety car restarts here in U.S. Regional. So, yeah, could have been. I mean, there were a few incidents, and he was able to avoid them without problem being out in the lead. So,
definitely,
I think
may pay off. We'll see.
He's coming in this lap.
Okay, so this is probably to put the hards on then. I thought maybe there was a possibility that he might have tried to stretch those out and go to the mediums, but he does not. So that is going to give Joseph the lead of this race. And yeah, one of the points that we actually missed on our Drink Alchemy partnership is Anthony, who's currently running P2. Again, he's under fire from Patrick for that position, but Anthony is he is the creator of Drink Alchemy. So that is his pride and joy. So it's great to have somebody come and support the league and also be racing in it. So looking forward to all that the future has in store with that. But as we see these drivers battling it out here for P2, this is gonna turn into a five-way battle for P2 right here before too long. Joseph Klaus Florida is bolting at the front, a 4.5 second lead on Anthony right now.
Anthony's just doing a very good job of keeping everybody behind him on fresher tires. This will pay off for him later in the race. I think once Patrick gets around him, he is going to get eaten up.
Yeah.
Now that because he's this lead car, he can just hold everybody behind him for now.
And
he might come under fire this lap.
Patrick's not going to be close enough to make that move, though. Patrick's trying to... Oh, he got into Anthony!
Oh.
And Anthony's in the wall! Oh, no. Patrick just broke a little bit too late. Got into the back of Anthony, and Anthony is very fortunate, as that causes a virtual safety car. Anthony was very fortunate to not completely... what's the word I'm looking for? Crash out there, and I was gonna say die, but obviously he's not gonna die. He's very fortunate that all four wheels are still attached on that Mercedes.
Yeah, but I tell you what, there's not a single bit of front wing that's still attached to that Mercedes. So that was a good little shot there he took to the wall.
Yeah, he is. That Mercedes is our first Formula Ford of the season.
That's what I was looking for.
That's what we need. We need a graphic for that. The Formula Ford count.
Formula Ford counter.
Yeah. How many front wings have been left out on track? That's. You know what? I know that I personally created a few Formula Fords out of Mercedes over the course of the last season. So. I'm glad that Anthony's stepping in, and I mean that was due to no fault of his own, but as we're back to green flag racing here. I missed that again, so you know we're coming off the off season. We'll sharpen up eventually here.
Yeah, we gotta get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, and speaking of getting back into the swing of things, though, these three drivers have not taken long to get back into the swing of things. Blender for life, Kyle. He just got overtaken by Mr. Stickless, Nick. So Nick trying to charge back to the front. He's gonna set his sights on his teammate. That's Will and Suck D's Toads. But one of the questions I have now is, I think Patrick got away without any damage there. It looks like he was fortunate enough to get away there. Although there may be a steward's report to come at the end of this one. We will wait and see on that. But we shall we'll leave that in the steward's hands. Of course, for this season, we welcome back one of our stewards from last year. That's Piers. He will be joining us again for another season of fun over here in the U.S. Regionals. And we do bid a farewell to Robert and thank him for his season of work here as the Mercedes or the Ferraris.
12.
Oh, that is true. That is Josh, I believe. Josh lost it, and again, he's another one. Fortunate to not get... actually, did he get any damage? No, it was a clean spin.
He did.
Jeez, that's fortunate. So Josh gets away with that. He's a little bit maybe hesitant now. I can imagine that those tires are lit up about as much as anybody would be comfortable with. As there's a yellow flag in Sector 1 as well. That's a McLaren that was off, I think. And I believe that was Ryan Clark, Nitwit. So I think he had an off somewhere in Sector 1.
He got overtaken by Dustin, and Ryan had to go a little bit offline, and I think it slowed him up just enough to go the local yellow, but no contact was made, at least from what I saw.
Okay. But we do cross the halfway point here of this Australian Grand Prix. We do have Joseph leading right now in the Williams. That's Klaus, Florida. The Ferraris are 2-3 of Nick and Will. But don't rule out Blender for life yet. That's Kyle, who's currently sitting in P4 and still within striking distance of Will. Patrick finds himself in P5. We have Carlos in P6. We have Will in P7. Kevin, True North Racing, He is firing back up the order, or trying to, after making his required pit stop. Currently sitting in P8. Greg is in, okay, Greg's in the pits. Dustin moves up to P9 with Greg making that pit stop, and then finally Jaden finds himself in 10th position and the final points scoring position. So, checking out the YouTube comments here for a second. It looks, Brett is thinking that we may have our Honda of 7 here. I don't know. I would argue that fact. Klaus, or Joseph, he's shown that he's quick, but we've also seen Adam has been quick, although Adam, I think, had to make another pit stop there and is currently mired back in 16th place. Kevin Hutchison, True North Racing, he's shown some promise here as well. And then, of course, Nick Mercer, Mr. Stickless. He's been pretty darn quick as well. So I think we might have some good racing here, but as this season unfolds. Oh, what happened? WPR's retired from. Did I see that right? Did he retire from the session, or did he just leave the session?
I think he just left, which I will send him an invite. Yeah,
that could perhaps be a connection thing. But we do still, I don't know. It's hard to say. A little bit strange, as Joseph does pick up a 3-second time penalty, and Kyle, Blender for life, he is really putting the pressure on Will right now for P3. These two are having a good old-fashioned duel. Of course, Will does have the edge in penalties there, as he has not yet received any time penalties. And Sean, yeah, I actually think there should be a couple of openings at 9. Because we do have a 17 driver grid for the upcoming 9 p.m. race here, which will be coming your way in about an hour and 10 minutes here. But go ahead and mark yourself as a reserve, and if you want to hop in there, then you should be able to get an invite. So the gap between first and second is, I think it's increasing a little bit here, as Stickless Nick, he's not quite able to keep up with Klaus. Not quite able to keep up with him. Meanwhile, there was I think Will came into the pits, that's what happened. Or his AI did.
I think his AI did.
Yellow flag in Sector 2. That is the Red Bull of Josh that Chef Gonwar. Oh, we had a moment.
No.
He saved.
That scares me every time.
He saved it, and it doesn't look like there's any damage, so that's a W, if you ask me. That is a code brown. As we're watching right now, Adam battling Kenny here. This is battle for P13. Adam on the mediums, Kenny on the hards. Yellow flag in Sector 1. That's for a Renault. That, I believe, is just Biko getting out of the way. As Adam gets past Kenny and up into P13. Patrick's in the pits. He pits for the mediums. He's going to go to the end.
Kevin's found himself in the 5th, but he's a whole 15 seconds back of the next car in front, so
it's kind of
his strategy didn't work. I think he was expecting some of the... Oh, he's up another penalty. I think he was expecting some of the guys closer to the front wouldn't have the pace that they did.
Well, you know what? He's gaining right now, not too much, but he is gaining on on those guys at the front. And you know what? Their hards are going to be very old by the end of this race. I wonder if Kevin might find himself in a good position here coming to the end of this race. But then again, what's the typical window here for the mediums? How long do you think he can drag those out for?
Yeah, I'm not even sure. I think really you'd want to do 15 to 16 laps, maybe 17 laps, which I think he's on course to do. So I think he'll be all right. They might not feel too great, but I think they'll make it. Yeah, I don't think you want to do more than really 16, 17 laps. The hards, I don't think there's usually not too big of a problem with any tire wear on the hards. They usually aren't very fast, but they don't wear at all. So
Yeah.
I think these guys will be all right. But yeah, Kevin for sure does have the pace over these guys. I just don't think he's got enough time.
Yeah, it looks like he's picked up about a second over the course of this last lap on the driver in front of him, but a second a lap is not going to do it, as he's 13, almost 14 seconds behind. So behind a battle that's really just been it has been raging here for probably, I mean, since the safety car came back into the pits, or since the virtual lifted, actually. These two have just been going at it. You see Blender, Kyle, he's been right on the rear wing of Will. And Will doesn't have a penalty yet. Got anything else going on throughout the field? This is the closest battle that we have right now on track. So we go a little bit further back, we find the likes of Dustin, who was recovered nicely from his little loop around earlier. He finds himself back up into P8. Anthony, after the incident that he was involved in, he's back up into the points at P10. So, you know, those the Mercedes, they're kind of having drives similar to what Mercedes experienced in Bahrain. when Russell was driving that car, but they're battling back nicely here as they look to lock up some early season points. Also, in the teams to watch out for, I mean, Ferrari, no doubt about them. They've shown some promise here, currently sitting P2 and P3. Racing Point as well, give them a shout out. Kevin, one of the many new drivers that we have here in 7 o'clock, but also Carlos. Carlos just joined up a few days ago, and he's fitting right in here. He's run a nice, quiet, clean race, and definitely looks in line to pick up some good points here. Although, you know what, Mike? If last season has taught me anything, maybe I should just stop talking about drivers.
Yeah.
I don't need to put any commentator's curse on them.
Maybe it's only a Monday night exclusive.
Yeah, that's true. I save it all up for Monday. We have a McLaren in the pits. That is Nitwit. That is, of course, Ryan. He is in for a wing change. But field fairly spread out, with the exception right now, actually, and also there's a battle brewing here for P6 between Patrick and Carlos. We also have the battle ongoing for P3 between Will and Kyle. And then also a battle here, Adam. Speaking of drivers who've had some early struggles and trying to rebound here, with about 7 laps to go, he's trying to get P11 back. It's going to be a stretch for him to try and get back up into the points.
Yeah, he's going to have to fight and claw for every little bit. It's going to be quite a bit of time to gain for him to find his way up into P10. Actually,
he gets his way around Adam, or Jaden.
It looks like Anthony's on the back of Greg now. Apparently Greg has no ERS, but he's got overtake engaged.
Oh, you know
Does
what?
he have?
I bet he has
the
that glitch. Yep. I bet he has that glitch where if you put the overtake button on the pre-race outlap, then it'll cuck ya. It'll cuck ya. As yeah, he's down to 0 ERS, so that's not going to help him. We see a yellow flag in Sector 2. That was a racing point. I think that was Kevin. No? I don't know. I don't know who it was. It was somebody, though, and there was a pink car that looked like it was going slow, although maybe it was my eyes were deceiving me. I'll bet you it was the Red Bull, actually. It's going a little bit slowly behind these guys.
I did not catch it. I did catch Anthony making his way around Greg, so he's up in a P9.
Yeah, nicely done.
Now Adam's gonna have to make up 7 seconds and just shy of 5 laps to get back into the points after a huge mistake. So if he could get back and even score a point in the first go around, I think that'd be something to be happy about. Maybe not happy about the mistake, but at least the recovery.
True. He's definitely not going to be, for any of these drivers that have had incidents here so far, not the ideal way to start your season, but you can definitely take away the positives. They've all rebounded quite nicely and made their way back up through the field. Blender here, Kyle. He seems to fall on the verge of losing DRS to Will in front of him, but then tends to reel him back in. And Mike, you know what? Something that we haven't noticed is that gap to the leader between Nick and Joseph. It's closing down, 3.8 seconds now.
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder if Joseph might have had an off.
Yeah, well, I do notice Nick quite low on ERS and Joseph quite high, so
true.
That could be your difference right there. But this could also be just legitimate pace for Nick.
It could be, yeah.
Over Joseph that who's at least waiting to unleash or just maybe couldn't hook it up earlier on in the stint. But I do think it's a little bit too late. Adam's going to get his first penalty.
Yeah, and that does not help him as the driver that he is trying to chase down right now. That is GDB Greg. Greg doesn't have any penalties, so Adam is going to have to pass him and put 3 seconds on him. As there's a McLaren off. I believe that is Ryan. It was. Or at least a McLaren moving slowly. And you know what? Nick really is pushing. 3.3 seconds now is the gap. He's picked up about a half second on the leader so far this lap, which isn't enough. But you know what? Could part of the problem be here is that maybe maybe Joseph hasn't been catching the lap traffic just the way that he wants. Maybe getting held up a little bit there, but regardless, Nick is catching him, but I don't think he's going to have enough time. I think it's going to be fun to watch Blender, Kyle, and Will duke it out here in the final 3 laps of this race. I don't know about you, Mike, but it feels like this race has flown by.
Yeah, it's been a relatively quick race, I think, due to the fact that we've seen battles pretty consistently throughout this race. Even, right now we only have one main battle, but there's still something out there for us to watch and follow. Ooh, we got a yellow flag in Sector 3. I'm not sure what that was for. The lap car getting out of the way, but... Yeah, it actually is interesting how fast it's flown by.
And I think part of that is we haven't had very many safety cars. Like we had the one full safety car in a virtual,
Yeah, just
but
one.
I mean, I'm a little bit. That's been a very pleasant surprise so far. I mean, like we said, we don't know all of these drivers all that well. We haven't seen them race too much, and it. I mean, everybody's racecraft seems quite well, and it's been impressive to watch. Some good, clean battles going on. Of course, there's been a couple moments here and there, but you get that anywhere really. Whether you're racing up with the really fast guys like you, Mike, in no assist tier 1, or wherever you are, there's always going to be a couple incidents.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of joked leading up to this about how we had no idea whether it was going to be pure chaos or a really good, clean race between some of these guys, and I think it's safe to say that we've seen a good race. Obviously, like you said, a few incidents here and there. I've seen worse and more competitive tiers, like you said. So props to all of these guys for coming out and first race and not not ruining their reputation right away. Everybody's
Here goes Nick up the
clean, and
inside.
we've seen some good racing.
Yeah, definitely been some good racing, like we just saw here with sorry, not Nick, Adam going up the inside of Greg here to get into the top 10, but he has to now try and push a 3-second gap so that time penalty doesn't come back to haunt him. Meanwhile, keeping our eyes on the top 2, the gap is now 2.5 seconds. So Nick, Mr. Stickless, has pushed very hard, try and close it down. Again, I don't think he's going to have enough time. And then in that battle for P3 with 2 laps to go, it is Kyle that is just about a half second behind Will. Of course, Will does not have any penalties either, so he's looking pretty good on that front. But yeah, I mean, good, clean racing so far here. A very nice way to start the season here with this in Australia. It looked like it might have been a bit sketchy, with the rain that we saw in qualifying. So the drivers have adjusted well from the wet to the dry, and it's turned out to be a good race.
Yeah, I mean, if we saw rain in the race, I think we should have expected some hectic incidents and scenes, but that's just what you get with weather in these games. Things kind of tend to go haywire in a lot of instances, so yeah, good.
Whoa.
Dry race.
1.1 seconds is the gap now. 1.2 seconds is the gap from first to second. I wonder if I don't know what this could be. I wonder if no, he's not running it in low fuel mode or anything. What could this be? The sudden pace uptick for Nick. And then also the battle for P3. Blender coming into Kyle. This is one of his last good opportunities here. But I just don't think he's going to be close enough to be able to make that pass. Adam has also cleared 3 seconds on Greg in P10. He has his sights set on Anthony, but Anthony with no penalties should be able to retain that regardless. But yeah.
The gap is within a second.
Yeah. Are these two even on penalties, Mike?
They are.
Oh boy, so
they both got 3 seconds.
We could have a race to the line here, depending on if Nick can find a little bit more time here in Sector 3. But Joseph is going to lead them through. Just a nice clean final couple of corners, and he will be in the clear. Joseph is going to accelerate out of the final corner, down the front straightaway. And Joseph, Klaus, Florida, will win the season opener in Australia. Nick will come home P2. Suck these toads, Will, looking poised to cross the line P3. A penalty-free race, nicely done for him. He will cross the line in P3 on the final podium spot. Kyle, a nice run, brings it home in P4. Kevin, True North Racing, brings it home, crosses the line P5. Carlos, his teammate, will be right behind him, crossing the line in P6. Nice showing for the Racing Points. Patrick, PJBX King, is going to cross the line in P7. Dustin, having run a very nice clean race, has not picked up a penalty throughout the running here. He has a solid season opener. He's going to bring it home P8. His teammate Anthony will bring it home P9. He is going to hold off Adam. Actually, Patrick drops 2 positions based on penalties, and Adam brings it home in P10. Greg brings it home P11. Kenny P12. Will P13. Jaden P14. I believe it was the Red Bull of Josh P15. And we'll show you the rest of where everybody finished up. Dustin gets driver of the day. A deserved driver of the day run for Dustin. Didn't get the qualifying run in that he wanted, but and of course did have an early incident in the race, but rebounded nicely. So, Mike, what were your thoughts on that Australian Grand Prix? I think a pretty damn good way to open the season.
Yeah, I mean, a finish within top 2 guys within a second. Saw some good battles, some good recovery drives from our P2 finisher Nick. Also, Adam did a good job to recover, and yeah, we seen it all. We saw, everything that we wanted to out of these guys, and got me excited for next week.
Yeah, certainly did. I mean, we're gonna have some good battles here in 7 o'clock. I think this is gonna be a fun one to watch as the season unfolds. See how drivers develop, how relationships develop. All these guys are just getting to know each other as well, and it'll be fun to see how some of these battles develop as the season goes on. As we, I guess here, Mike, do you want to send out the party invites?
I can do that.
Alrighty. Send those out to our top 3 finishers. Joseph and was the 2 Ferraris. And as we wait for them to come in, I think we'll see. This is one of the things I may have forgot to pop into sort of the FAQ for them. Hopefully we'll have hopefully the drivers will know to come pop into the party chat and join us for a quick interview here, but regardless, it was lots of good battling to watch. I think based on what we saw here today, I think Joseph Klaus, he clearly has some speed. We saw lots of pace out of Nick as well, especially towards the end of that race. I'm not sure if maybe Joseph's tires were going a little bit or what the case might have been there, but regardless, Nick was catching him at a blistering rate. We also have True North Racing. He led a few laps. He had a solid showing as well. Maybe got the pit strategy a bit wrong there, as he was never really able to develop, rebound from his pit stop. But yeah, we do have our first podium finisher that has entered into the chat here, and that is of course Joseph. He finished P1 here today in the Williams. Joseph, welcome.
Hello. How's it going?
It's I mean, it was a fun race to watch, man. There was some good battles going on out there. I know you spent quite a bit of that race up at the front, but you were able to just keep it steady, keep it going. You built up a nice solid gap there, and kept your nose clean, and you eventually brought it home in first place. So walk us through your Australian Grand Prix, and what were your thoughts when the first qualifying session of the season there was a full wet?
So it was wet, and I was actually pretty happy because they threw a practice together a couple days ago, and it was the same exact thing. And I had pole by like a full second, and I think I got pole in this race by like half a second, I think, because I think I'm really good in the wet, I guess. So I was actually pretty happy it was in the wet. Race started, I got dive bombed into the first corner, and it sent me off. And then I think Testicles took first place, and I was behind Stickless. I don't remember exactly how it went.
Yeah, my bad on that. That's all me.
Nah, you're all good. And then yeah, I just put in some laps. I pitted, I think, lap 8 under the safety car. And I got a big lead, and then I saw that he had a penalty, so I tried not to get a penalty, and I ended up getting one. And then I got another warning. So I went very slow, just trying to not get a penalty, and then it kind of put me out of my groove. And I saw the delta, it was coming down so fast every lap. So I was trying to push it, but I just couldn't get back in with a good race pace. But I had 80% of battery in the last lap. I used all of it.
I see. That was one of the things that we were looking at and wondering if something might have happened in the car, or if you were experiencing just some bad tire wear there. Because, yeah, all of a sudden you had, I think it was about a 6-second lead, and then it was, whoa, the gap is really coming down there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, regardless, you had just enough of that lead, and you were able to bring it home in first place. So what does it feel like to win the opening race of the season here?
I don't know, man. This is my first league ever. I've never even done league racing, not even much online racing. So to win my first league race, it's kind of feels nice. It definitely feels good.
That's a hell of a start.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mike, is there anything that you want to add here?
Yeah, kind of to bounce off of that answer, and you saying that first league, you don't have much experience with this. You've seen some of the competitors you might be facing for the season. So what are your overall expectations as the season goes on?
Just try and be consistent, because I feel like I'm going to be fighting Stickless and Testicles a lot, because they just felt like they had a little more pace than a lot of the other guys in the field. Not to diss anyone else, but like I feel like I'm going to be fighting them for the championship the whole season.
Yeah, there was definitely, it seemed like, I think there was 4 of you that kind of broke away from the pack early in that race. I think True North Racing, Kevin, was also up there as well. So I definitely look forward to seeing how these battles develop. I think there's going to be lots of battles between you guys as the season rolls on, and a big congratulations to you on this opening round victory.
Thank you.
We will now move on down the line here, and we will hop into P2 right now. So our P2 finisher here today was Nick. That is Mr. Stickless. So Nick, I mean, bit of an eventful race for you there. We kind of saw there was the bit of the opening corner kerfuffle that happened there, yeah. But you were able to you got past that, and then eventually you got some wing damage and had to come in and make an early pit stop. Walk us through your Australian Grand Prix.
Yeah, so because just starting qualifying, I saw it was wet, and that was kind of interesting because I had done 0 laps in the lead around Melbourne up to that point. So it was just a kind of a case of put a lot of fuel in the car and then just put down a banker and then trying to improve on that every time. I didn't expect to qualify in the front row. I was like maybe top 10-ish, but when I saw front row, I was like, oh, okay, maybe we can go for a win here. Then the start, I got a good start, got a good jump, and then as I mentioned during Klaus's interview, I completely outbroke myself into turn 1, and I sent him with me, so that was 100% on me. And then I kind of I fly back into 4th, got in the DRS train. I saw Klaus going to move on Drew, and I was like, I tried to follow him through, and I guess he just didn't see me, and he turned in on me, and I suffered that. But it's all good, though. I talked to him on Discord after the race, and it's all good between us. And then, just kind of pit. Thankfully got saved by the safety car to jump all of us up, and then from that point, just get the head down and push as hard as I could.
Yeah, I mean, put your head down and push. You did as when we were talking with Joseph there. You know, you're really breaking down the interval, the gap between you two at the end of that race. What was sort of going through your mind there the last 5 or 6 laps when you saw that the delta was coming down? And did it ever cross your mind that, you know, man, oh man, like I might have a chance here?
Yeah, I was doing like the math in my head. I was like, oh, I gotta catch him. Cause I was catching, I think, at like 3 or 4 tenths a lap. I was like, oh, I gotta get 2 more tenths a lap to get him. And it was also, I was kind of in like a sticky situation because I saw he had a penalty, and I had a penalty as well, but I also had 2 warnings for most of that last half of the race. So it's kind of in a pickle where I had to push to try to get him, but I also couldn't get any more penalties or that'd just be race over.
Yeah, it certainly would. But regardless, a great run for you here today, and a great charge up through the field. It was an impressive run for you today. Mike, do you have anything you want to add for Nick?
Just congratulations on your first podium. Massive comeback drive. Helped a little bit by the safety car, but either way, drove from I think 9th after the safety car to 2nd. So really good drive from you, and look forward to seeing you back next week.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
And then we will move on to our final podium finisher here today. That is Will, of course, Suck These Toads. Definitely one of the unique PSNs that we have here in the 7 o'clock division. But Will, man, you had definitely all of the top 3 had a pretty interesting race and having to overcome some adversity. But one of the things that you had to deal with for virtually ever since the safety car came into the pits was you were dealing with Kyle, Blender for life, behind you for almost the entire second half of that race. You know, walk us through your battle with him and your race overall.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was pretty crazy. He was literally always there. I was just trying to save ERS literally the whole time, you know? If he wasn't in my DRS or within like half a second, I was just saving it. And luckily I had enough when he did get close just to use it all and keep the gap. I've been messaging him though, and yeah, it was just a crazy, he was always there, keeping me on my toes, yeah.
It was, we were hoping that we might get to see some side-by-side racing from you guys, but it seemed like you were just able to hold him off on the straightaways. Were you running a bit less wing there potentially that gave you maybe a bit of an edge on the straightaways, or
I think it might have just been the ERS. I mean, I think a pretty high actually. I'm running about a 4.9, which I think is about middle, maybe a little high. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's sort of middling. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it was just saving that ERS and saving the fuel, which the safety car helped. You know, put it in lean.
True.
Had the fuel in the ERS to back him off.
I mean, regardless, though, you did a great job holding him off cleanly, and then also you mentioned cleanly. I mean, even if he had got around you, you didn't pick up a single penalty that race, so that's certainly impressive. Australia is not an easy track to get away with having no penalties on your resume, so congratulations to you, of course, for that, and congratulations to you on bringing it home in P3. I'll turn it over to Mike now if he has anything to add for you.
I mean, I think we gotta ask him this question, Stu. You gotta tell us about the name and what compelled you to make your name, your PSN gamer tag, what it is.
Yeah. So I just had a couple friends, and we were actually all gonna be Toads.
Oh,
and
no.
I just got the lucky name of Suck These Toads. You know, we got a couple of us, so I'm just one of many.
if you landed with Suck These Toads, I don't even want to know what your buddies ended up with.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Well, regardless, it sounds like Suck These Toads is a name that we're going to be mentioning here a fair bit as we make our way through the season. A big congratulations to you on your podium here in your maiden race, and we look forward to talking to you some more in the future.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much.
Alrighty, Mike. So race 1 is done. We got that off the books, out of the way. We had a great turnout, some great racing. it really really does make you look forward to what the future has in store for these guys.
Yeah, really looking forward to next week. Going to Bahrain, track where I think we're going to see a lot of overtaking with those huge straights. Yeah, also looking forward to about a half an hour from now. You got a race to do. I got another race to commentate. So
True.
be interesting for me to pull double duty all season on the Sunday night. But yeah.
You're a trooper. You got this. You got this. But as Mike said, we do have more action coming your way here this evening. In about 35 minutes time, the Transnation Esports U.S. Regional 9 o'clock Sunday division is going to be hitting the streets of Melbourne. I guess this is technically a street circuit. Technically.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so they're hitting
We'll call it a street circuit.
they're hitting the streets of Melbourne for their version of the Australian Grand Prix. Should be a fun one to watch. We're gonna have some rivalries renewed over there. We do have some new faces to add to the mix as well. Honda has also thankfully moved on to Monday nights, so maybe we'll see somebody else win a race here this season. No offense, Andrew, but it will be nice. But yeah, should be some good racing there, so make sure you stay tuned into that. Otherwise, Tuesday and Wednesday we have the European regionals that start up their season, and of course the big dogs get going on Saturday or Sunday, depending on where you are in the world, for the nationals divisions of no assist and assist. So on behalf of Mike and myself, thank you for tuning in to the Transnation Esports showing of this Australian